Israel shall prosper. The ark have the power to take, just say if someone have a whole nuclear arsenal and shot it, the ark have the power to harbor all that power and just to seal it and make it go away. They can shoot all this power and the ark would just absorb it and take it away. That's how powerful the ark is. But they cannot deal with the force of the ark because the ark is spirit. It's a spiritual weapon. It been times where the Most High would tell Levi, listen, I don't want to lose no men in war. You take the ark and uncover it and move out the way. I'm going to fight for y'all. And the spirit will come out of the ark and kill all the enemy's army. And the war is over. Skull and bones all in the valley. It's over. Smoke coming off bones. That's the war is done. We didn't lose one man in war. So this is what they are afraid, and that's why they're trying to stop us from traveling, because in the wilderness it's been prophesied that one of our young, and maybe one of you, will happen on the ark and bring it into the camp. See, a lot of you wonder, how will we be protected with all the arsenal and the weaponry that this world has? When we get that ark, that's the Most High is going to have put a fire around us that's going to protect us. And they're going to know that we got the ark. Okay? And they're going to know that there's no weapon. Total clean energy. A total clean weapon that does no harm to the earth. That targets the enemies of the Most High and will move them out of our path. Super bad. So I'm going to do a lesson very soon on the Ark of the Covenant and the understanding of the Ark of the Covenant up into the time of Moses. So I'm going to be doing a lesson on that. I came back on to let y'all know that we've been researching this thing. So when the Most High gave us information on the time and on the right Sabbath, on the right Passover, we looked at that, and then more information came available that was blowing our minds. It was totally blowing our minds what was going on. When it came to, it seemed like we got the Most High's name. He led us to one thing. And then he led us to the right Sabbath, the right days to worship. And now he's leading us to the understanding of judgment and why they won't allow us into these pyramids. I'm going to tell you. So, yeah, they're trying to offset the prophecies. If we get into the wilderness and one of our children or one of us happen on the ark, it's a game changer. Because you don't need buttons and all that to work the ark. The Most High works the ark. The only thing you got to do is cover it. I mean, hold it. Okay? The Most High going to take care of all that. And it tell you that when we get in the wilderness, he will set up pastors according to his heart. So it's going to be people chosen that we don't know who they are, that will be in the wilderness, that will have the direction to do the Most High's will. So the ark is not in Africa. The ark is at the same mount that we were in coming out of Egypt. But they can't touch it. Now, with this understanding, now I didn't even look at it, but a lot of you, go back and look at the Raiders of the Lost Ark again. I never understood the Raiders of the Lost Ark when I was in the world. I'm like, what's this, these people? We didn't even know that they were looking for our weapon. That's our weapon. It's a heavenly weapon. So I'm going to do a lesson strictly on the Ark of the Covenant. Everyone claiming they have it. Believe me. Once we get it, No one is going to, like, you got some people in Africa claiming they got the ark, but don't want to show no one. Believe me, if they had the ark, Israel would not be in power right now. I know where the holy mountain is, if that's what you're asking. A matter of fact, when you put the coordinates in on the area where the holy mountain is and where the tongue of the Red Sea is, it's the perfect coordinates of when the sun comes up. They give you equal parts day and equal parts night, so that you'll know the first day of the year. It's from that region that all things were created. Before the split of the tongue, or before there was a split in the earth, before there was a flood, all that area was all connected to Israel. That's why the Bible calls, it says, Egypt my people. All that area was actually a part of the land of Israel. So that coordinates you put in at the tongue of the Red Sea, and the coordinates that you would put in from the Holy Mount, let you know exactly the due north of where the Most High is down into the earth. And it's the perfect time so that you can find out the cycle, the 364-day cycle. And also all that information, after I send it to the elders and deacons, that will be on the website also. The more we're going into scriptures, I don't know what to say. It's humbling. All praise be to the Most High. It's your first Passover. I know you had many Easters, though, I'll tell you that. Boy, they just move Passover out of the way. They take this. Here's Easter for you. You sitting there with that 3-piece suit on. You ready to hurt the world Easter morning. Sit there looking at your clothes all night the night before. Saturday night, you got your things laid out on the bed with your shoes on the floor, linking that whole thing in. And then, I never forget those days, boy. Easter Sunday, you walking up and down the street, it's raining. It is, but you ain't letting that stop you. Every Easter, it's raining. And you sitting there looking down at your shoes, walking down the street. Look, sweat, sharper than a pen, wind blowing and everything. I remember those days. Right? Someone say, can I explain tithing? And is the church doing it right? Tithing is a law of 10%. That's all it is. It wasn't a law that was strictly instituted with Moses. Some people would like to think so, but it wasn't. The tithing began when 10% was given to Melchizedek, which is Shem, in appreciation by Abraham. When Abraham gave Melchizedek 10% after the slaughter of Sodom. And Christ came after that same order, the order of Melchizedek. So a lot of people don't know that the Pharisees and scribes were getting upset because they were set up by the Romans and were used to getting paid by the people. And people started putting money in Christ's treasury opposed to the priests. Because if you were an Israelite, you know that tithing was law. So they began to give tribute or put money in Christ's treasury. So the tithe is a law of 10%, where in appreciation to your teachers and those the Most High set up as priests to guide you to Him, that there's an obligation of the law to make sure they get 10%, and through that you're blessed. So no, I don't believe the churches are wrong in instituting the 10% tithe. Where I do think they're wrong, and I know a lot of people saying tithe is done away with. And some people say, well, back then it wasn't money, it was substance, which is true. But right now, opposed to back then, you're not spending substance, which means you're not taking carrots to the store to buy a car. Okay? You're not taking wood to the store to purchase things. So you can't use that analogy to say, well, they were using substance, because don't forget, back then, substance was money. It was bartering. If you were a carpenter, you made your due by fixing things and building things with wood. And you would give those things to others to receive things. You understand? So that was money. Because you can't take carrots and wood and all that and purchase it, you can't use that analogy. Money is what you give 10% of now. Okay? Because back then, they didn't have financial paper machines as money. They had real substance as money. But you can't say, well, they was giving their flock and all that. Well, that was their money. If they wanted, just say if you were a carpenter and I needed work on my house, you would come and do carpenter work on my house, and I gave you the gifts of my hands. If I had sheep, I would be like, okay, I need you to build me this wing of my house, and I'll give you a he lamb and 2 she lambs. That was the money. I would give you something, you give me something. Okay? And it's not 10% of your gross, okay? It's 10% of what you bring after, taxes or whatever. And you take 10 cents off a dollar and give it to your teacher, or give it to someone who's helping you see the Lord. And I'm going to say this is because that's the same order of Melchizedek. That's not a wrong thing to do. As a matter of fact, it's very right. And you will get blessed for doing it. That is correct. Where the churches go off at, they done went into this doctrine of sowing seed. They done linked that in to, if you give more money than your 10%, then you sowing a seed, and through that, more money going to come back to you. That's not in Scripture. So now they're making it where you are compelled, you are actually putting in money to receive money. Like this is some type of spiritual slot machine. You understand? And that's not what it is at all. They done totally took the concept of tithing and made it into a prosperity teaching, which is incorrect. You're not putting 10% in to expect to get anything back. You're putting 10% in appreciation for a teacher who's helping you connect and receive blessings from the Most High that have nothing to do with, I'm putting in $10 and I'm looking to get 100. So it have nothing to do with that, of expecting anything. All right? What about those guys in Africa willing to pay free tickets for Black Americans to go to Africa to work? How true is that, Elder? Or they try to buy us? Well, there is something being worked with someone within the church where you can go and do a few things, but we have to work out the logistics on that. I don't even want to put that out until it's tangible, until there's something real. Says my husband's father would always say God made millionaires. Okay. I don't disagree with that, but I would come back with what God is he speaking of? Okay. Because Satan is a god. So I don't disagree with that. Don't forget, he took Christ to the pinnacle and told him, all these things I'll give you if you bow down and worship me. I'll give you the world. Just bow down and worship me. So what God is he speaking of? So he is correct. God did make millionaires. His God. And see, and there's no, see, the difference in this world and in the, compared to the real world, I'm going to call it the real world, is that the Most High give you what you need to do his will. There's no price on that, which means it's just like the Matrix. If you need a car to go drive somewhere, eventually he'll put a car on the road. If you need finances to go to one country and do something, he'll put that on the road. You understand? It's not to indulge in the world, but to have enough, the Most High put enough in this earth so that you can use this world. Not abusing, but using to do the will of the Most High. And whatever that is, that's what you have. That's your riches. And what more do you need? What more do you need? What is your question? I found the truth. Paul was an Israelite. He was not a Roman. Romans the 11th chapter tells you that. Romans 11 tell you. Have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite, from the seed of Israel, from the house of Benjamin. The Most High have not cast away his people which he foreknew. So he stated his nation and his tribe. So no, he was not a Roman. And Roman is not an ethnicity. The European Romans are Edomites. The black people who were citizens of Rome were Israelites living in Rome. The same way you may be in America. But is your ethnicity American? No. All right? Rome, you can be a Roman citizen of any ethnicity. The same way you can be an American citizen of any ethnicity. Okay, if they tell you that you need a Sabbath letterhead. We have a Sabbath letterhead. We have that. That's no problem. Just send an email, and Monday we'll make sure you get a letterhead to be excused on the Sabbath. It's deep because when Jewish people say they can't work on Sabbaths, you notice they don't need no letterhead. But there lies the slave dilemma. Someone asked, if someone put your family in danger, is it okay to bring forth a fatality against this particular person, son of Yah? You mean if someone came in your house to harm your family? Is that what you're asking, son of Yah? Because that can be interpreted many ways. Are you saying that if someone is coming to do bodily or physical harm or may fatally harm your family, do you have a right to protect yourself and put that person down? Well, you know the answer to that question. I mean, what you going to do? Let them come in and destroy you and your family? I think you know the answer to that already. Someone asked, should women wear pants if they follow in the Most High? Well, what pants are you speaking of? There are pants that are women pants. There are pants that women use to go under their dress, like they do in the Middle East, so that dust don't go up into their skirts. So what pants are you speaking of? I don't think that brothers and sisters know. I don't think they know that there are women pants that's strictly for women. And there's undergarments like pants that women wear under their dresses and skirts. All right. Now, I've seen some women pants that if a man put these on, then they would have an issue. So when the Bible says that a man is not to wear what pertaineth to a woman, and neither should a woman put on man's garments, it's talking about a woman actually putting on men's garments. But yes, women are not supposed to wear the dress of a man. So it depends on what pants you're speaking of. They're not supposed to wear men pants. It's brothers saying we can't keep the Passover in Babylon. But Daniel did. Can you enlighten me? I can't enlighten you on something as ridiculous as that. Because the Bible tells you that you do the Passover throughout your generations. And it explicitly tells us that it's to be done as a memorial forever. How can someone say that it's speaking of you're not supposed to do the Passover in Babylon when the word forever is there? So, my favorite question, what scripture is that? What about women blue jeans? Well, personally, I think that women need to really examine wearing these particular types of clothing. I don't know, because it's showing crevices and all types of scenarios, and I think women know exactly what they're doing in those jeans. It's almost like wearing a girdle that insinuates certain parts of a woman's anatomy. Now, if she wants to wear something like that and put a shirt over her, her parts, then okay. That can be a style where it's modest, where they're protecting their, they're protecting their body. Was the Passover celebrated on Thursday after sundown? No. Every Passover is on a Sabbath. Every Passover is on a Sabbath. And if you follow the class earlier that we've had, we proved that. Okay? It's not counted according to a moon. It means month, not moon, when it says new moon. So the first Sabbath from the year, from the beginning of the year, was Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That was the 7th day. And then the next week was the 14th day, which is also a Sabbath. 7 and 7 is 14. So when the Most High gave the law of the Passover after the Sabbath of the first year, it was clear that that would be the second Sabbath of the year. Okay? So no. The Passover falls on a Sabbath every year. And it was done in error in the past by following the moons. You're not supposed to follow the moons. We picked that up in Babylon. Okay? We will have more lessons concerning the tribes. As a matter of fact, we're going to do individual lessons on each tribe. Yes, I will hit the streets again very soon. Yeah, I heard about those things being the cause of sexual dreams, yes. Is there any truth to it? I don't know if there's any truth, Negan, to the names of those spirits. But I know that those spirits exist. I know that those spirits exist. And they usually come, believe it or not, it's rooted in our, believe it or not, it's usually rooted in our psyche by some of the things we have let in our lives. Probably not immediate, but some people, you know, they take part in pornography, or at one time took part in pornography in their life. All these things leads you opening a gate or a door for a spirit. So I don't know the name of those spirits, but I know that these spirits can only mess with us if we open a door for them. And usually those particular spirits come through pornography. Well, the first thing you would need to do is, if you are dealing with any level of pornography, anything, you must stop immediately, even a little bit. And the second thing is, you got to just pray in the name of Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya wa Rawchaa before you go to bed. And you must learn to be able to use those prayers even while you're asleep. So you must show some type of control with yourself before you go to sleep, and you'll be able to operate in your sleep and pray some of these things away. Usually when you're dealing with something in your mind, it's real time. Even if you're asleep, you can pray in your sleep. I came into the truth in 1992. 1992 I came into the truth. All right, it's early in the morning. Let me finally, I'm going to say bye for the last time. And I wasn't going to come on, but I seen Sister Wanda come on in the mission. She says, "Oh, I missed it." So I'm like, "Oh, other people came on, so let me just come on for a moment and talk to you all real quick." And you know, and I just want to share the music with y'all, and hopefully the music you've heard would make you want to help us with the music also, so you'll have those soon. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth: South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Middle East, all over the world. Babylon, baby Babylon, which I call the United Kingdom. And Monetizak, okay, I'll send you an email real quick to see if it'll work. Yeah, we sent Dr. Windsor some extra information, and we hope to have him back on the show soon. Well, the safest place to migrate is, I would say, would be an established government, a country with a stable government within Africa. When I say stable, they have a very good infrastructure. So the best thing I would say that's the safest place immediately, because at least you have a bunch of people who look like you who can protect you in a time of trouble. So I would say that would be the safest scenario. It would be a place in Africa with the best infrastructure. All right? So do some research. All right? And I'll tell you what, when we get to the optimum point where stuff is really coming down, I will definitely put out a few things more as far as detail. I hate to be a little secretive to some degree on certain scenarios, but I have to do it for the sake of, preservation, so that we have more work to do and more people to awaken. So I have to be, I have to be a little wise on how I deal with this. And the first time I went someplace and people knew I was there, I mean, everyone with all different types of doctrines knew I was there. They all got all, I mean, it was wild. So I just want to, and if every place we work get blowed up, then there will not be a refuge for other brothers and sisters that we can help. If every place we go, it get blowed up and our people start doing something to make it where we can't exist there. So I have to be careful. But soon it'll, to be the Lord's will, when the jig is up all together anyway, but we'll make sure we put things out, but there's more work to do. All right? Nagin Shazid, you said you're a music producer. How long have you been producing music? Since 2008. How old are you? '25. 2008. Okay. What program do you use? What program do you use? Oh, I'm going to laugh and just asking you. A lot of you young brothers are very talented. All right. Nagin and Tremaine, I need you all to contact me. See if y'all can help lift our people up. We can do some things together. I also use Prasanna's Studio One. Prasanna's Studio One Pro. Okay. Okay. All right, well, get with me. We can do some work. We can do some Zion music. So we'll all talk. Let's inspire the world for truth. Okay? All right, bless you all. And have a blessed Sabbath, and don't drink and drive. All right? We need you. Don't get yourself hurt with that yayin, which is wine. Shalom. Bless you.